This year we're celebrating 40 plus years of continuous operation. From the Raine Horne era in the 1980s to the Chesterton International years, and now as Trident Property Advisory, we hear from some of our business partners and collaborators and their experience with Shaun Douglas and the team across the decades.
My name's Andrew Harper, and like Shaun, I've been in real estate for over 40 years, and our shared experiences probably started around late 83, 84, thereabouts. And you know, similar connections in the sense that both our fathers knew Tony Atkinson, who started Raine Horne in Queensland. We both worked at a bank, and we both wanted to transition into real estate. So it was, I started, I think it must have been about May 83 in leasing with Raine Horne, through an introduction from my father to Tony Atkinson, and it would have been within that first 12 months that Shaun's father, Bill Douglas, had contacted Tony Atkinson and said, well, you know, my son's looking at going into real estate as well. So Shaun came in for an interview and we had a chat, and yeah, so we gave him the opportunity to get started. And we were just, you know, in the early days of building that leasing department, and so Shaun was with me all the way on that, and it was great fun. They were good days. It was a good period in Brisbane's history, because in that period of 83 through to about 88, there was a lot of office buildings built. So we had a very busy time. So we were very lucky with the era that we came into it, and the market was dominated by the big players at the time. It was the JLW, as it was back in those days, and Richard Ellis, which they both morphed into bigger firms now. And so we had a lot of competition to deal with them, but we were lucky that we got in with the developers. And because there was a period where a lot of buildings were built in Brisbane, we got exposed to those developers and a lot of new developments. Projects like the Cathedral Square, Brisbane Transit Centre, and many, many other high-rises that were built in the time. And it was a good period because not only did we get to do a lot of large leasing deals that happened quickly, but we got involved in the development process as well. And so quite a lot of the leasing operatives in that period went on to become developers and learnt a lot of development skills during the 80s.
Shaun, I don't want to congratulate you or start the epilogue after 40 years in this bloody business. I don't know how many people have come through the door in the period of time you've had the business. It must be hundreds. Of those hundreds, you've had directors and partners who are variable quality and design. There's Atkinson and Moore and Lambert, Bennett, Black. But probably find at the end of the day, the saving grace that saved us and yourself was probably some of the support staff, which are probably the most loyal, the most supportive. People like Joy, Carol, and probably Jennifer especially. So I don't know how you did it, but you're there, and I think you're in a better position than you probably even thought you would have been 40 years ago.
Well, the company started back in 1983. Shaun and I both joined Raine Horne in 1984. Although I was in Sydney for the first 3 years, I came up here in 1987 and Greg joined in 1988. We've changed to Chesterton and now with Trident taking over the reins or taking over the name. So it's been a long journey. You'll think that maybe the three of us, Greg, Shaun and myself, very different characters in a lot of our attitudes, and where that comes down to. Shaun was the visionary, I was more the legal one in the background trying to keep everything on the straight and narrow, and Greg was somewhere in between and a good mediator between the three of us. But it worked well as a team. We worked well, and I think we've done pretty well together. So, well, good luck on Shaun, 40 years in the same company, and hope there's many more to come. Thanks.
Ben Sakalis is my name. I've been with Trident Property Advisory, well, Chesterton it was known as, since 2007. I came into the business with Alan and Greg in valuations in 2007. I realised I didn't want to be a valuer in 2007, and Shaun grabbed me and took me upstairs at 100 Wharves Street and took me into agency. And I've been there ever since. I started off as a cadet, moved to a leasing agent, moved to a senior leasing agent, and now I'm a director and part business owner with Shaun Douglas. Yeah, one of the best things, as I said, Shaun mentored myself and 2 or 3 other guys. He used to bring in suits that he bought in the 80s and no longer wore. They were double-breasted or the ties were yay thick, and we'd come in, cut them down to suit ourselves. They were all Emporio Armani or Tom Ford or Paul Smith. They were all expensive suits, but they were damn hideous.
I certainly had known Shaun and his reputation from his Chesterton days, but it was something that we, as a new, as a new director of MRL, it was, let's have a look at our property advisor, and over time we began to understand what Shaun's strengths were. Shaun obviously is a very market-focused gentleman, and while we, I guess, had the technical expertise behind that, what we didn't have was market savvy, and I think what Shaun has really delivered to MRL, and then obviously to the Trident Group, is his market savvy.
Yeah, I first came across Shaun, or worked with Shaun, in 2017 when I joined MRL Investments. I think at the beginning it was a bit of a shock because he was quite exuberant and loud, and but I think what I learned from all of that and what I enjoyed working with Shaun was he was very passionate about property, and also very knowledgeable about property. I don't think there's any property in Brisbane that Shaun doesn't know, hasn't worked on, hasn't come across. He knows what's good and what's bad about each property. So coming in from my previous role, it was so great to meet someone and work with someone that was really just so passionate about property and had such a depth of knowledge and breadth of knowledge in the industry and in the space.
Hi, my name's Sam Christensen. I'm Director of Asset Management with Trident Property. Started originally with Chesterton International about 7 years ago now. A property manager and worked my way up from there. I've worked with Shaun pretty closely from the very beginning. Even had the special privilege of managing his properties, so his shopping centre, commercial building, and even a residential apartment in the mix, which was always interesting. No one's got a better way to cut deals and make things work, and it's been a real privilege working with Shaun and learning under Shaun for these last 7 years, and here's to the next 40.
Hi, I'm Mark Douglas. I'm Shaun's youngest brother. I'm Director of MCD Australia Project Management. We obviously share a strong synergy. Our dad was an architect. We've got other brothers in the construction industry. Shaun and I have been a bit passionate about property and development for, I think, most of our lives, to be honest, even though we've had other careers in the past. For many years we've been driven by that passion Dad had, and look to continue that through the family over the many years, even in our own private developments, as well as particularly in my sector of client-side project management. We love seeing goals and aspirations and deliverables of things that are achievable, and sometimes people can't think they can be achieved, but we strive to deliver those outcomes as best we can. Being around a like-minded group of people here in the office is great. They're always trying to do new and wonderful things.
Thank you to everyone who has contributed to the success of Trident across the last 40 years. We're excited to take you all along with us across the next decade with the continued growth of Trident Property Advisory and Trident Funds Management.